Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Friends Podcast, man. Thank you for joining us here today. And if it's your first time, thank you for coming through to
Yes,
hearing what
sir.
we have to say and all those cool things, man. So let me start with my introduction as I always do. My name is Matt. I'm here with my co-host.
My name is Rod. I appreciate you guys for tuning in. And as I always say, make sure you go and subscribe. We're on YouTube, iHeartRadio, Apple Music, Spotify, Amazon Music, everywhere that podcasts are streamed. We're there. So check us out.
Yeah, man. Everywhere you could think of, except for SoundCloud. But everywhere we'll have the links and stuff in the bottom of the description and stuff like that. So check us out for sure. So I guess let's start like this.
Where the
So
money
what was
reside.
where the money resides. So let's start like this. So how was like your last week and how's everything going for you?
This week has been pretty good. I went to check out the Red Bulls soccer game. They had a good ass game. Man, I loved it.
Word. Who won?
The Red Bulls for sure. They're number 2 in the standings, so man,
Okay,
it was a good game.
that's what's up. See, I never even took you as a soccer guy, so that was kind of surprising when you told me that. Like, I'm like, this nigga watching soccer? Like, that's crazy.
Man, it's new things and just going to try it out. It was spontaneous, so you
Yeah,
gotta do something different sometimes.
I feel that. Definitely got to try new shit out and kind of see what's cool, see what's not cool. So, kind of same for me. Like, well, I didn't go to a soccer game, but I've been kind of just chilling, just same old shit. I always say the same thing every fucking episode. Just chilling, editing, just trying to find a way to make $1 out of 15 cents. That's really the main thing right now that I've been on. But I guess without further ado, we can get into I guess our topics for today. So do you want to go ahead and intro that when you're ready?
Oh, for sure. This week we got some great topics. The first one that came up was something I had saw online. It was Donald Glover interviews himself for the new interview mag, and one of the things that stuck out to me, he detailed how being niche could hold someone back from being great. So when I think about that, I do think people put themselves in a box, and you don't want to put yourself in a box because it kind of um, strips away at the creativity of what you're trying to create because you're trying to appeal to a bunch of different audiences. And I
Right.
think that's kind of like what we do here at the Friends Podcast. We're eventually we're not going to only have music artists, but we have authors and athletes and everything that we're talking to and that we hope to be on.
Right. So let's kind of start here. Let me one is kind of crazy interviewing yourself. So it's like he wrote these questions, then he answered them. That's kind of crazy. That's number one. But number two,
Maybe he did. It could have been somebody at the office, but
yeah, that's possible. Maybe he could have somebody else could have wrote them. But let's kind of start here. I want to kind of analyze this quote. So let me read the full quote just so the listeners and everybody can have an understanding of what we're even talking about here. So as he said, Donald Glover interviewed himself and he asked himself, with niche culture, why be relevant? And so he said, I hate niche. When I was really starting to make stuff back in the early 2000s, niche was the wave because it was safe and you can eat off of it. Back then you could eat off it a lot, but I think it didn't challenge people to figure out if they were great or not. This ain't a job to me. I'm in the influence game. And I think my world is better than most people's, so I'm trying to make the most people believe in my world. That's relevancy. Um so yeah. So that's what he said. I think the thing that stuck out to me when I read this was like you can't figure out if you're great or not if you're doing some different shit. So I think he's kind of saying like just because you're doing some shit that's niche and you're doing some shit that's unique, don't make it great. That's kind of what I took from it, and I thought that was kind of interesting. Did you kind of take the same thing?
yeah, I mean a little bit because I feel like maybe people are just trying to be safe, and I don't know what I just kind of said on it just a second ago.
Hmm.
I feel like people just try to box themselves in. Like there's so much of a different audiences and people are multifaceted. Like people have a bunch of different things that they enjoy. It's not only one thing, and you want to appeal to everything that like you enjoy.
Right. But I mean, when somebody is like a very different person, like they just kind of like an introvert, and like they just like certain specific things. Like he's just kind of saying like
But introverts, even though that don't mean they don't like multiple things. Like everyone likes multiple things.
Yeah,
Whether it's that's what they put out or not. But yeah, I feel like a lot of times when people put out anything, it's everyone always wants to be niche. Every time you come up with like a business plan or a business, everybody says you got to pitch yourself in a category. Say, oh, this is what we're trying to aim for. This is what we want. Instead of just like doing it just because you like to do it and just see what happens from it and like and grow organically and like whatever crowd comes and audience appeals to what you're talking about. It's like at least you're doing something that you love and then it grows with you instead of just like being like you're stuck in this box and it's only gonna be this crowd and these people. Like that's kind of how I took it.
right. And so when that goes out of style, then you don't really have anything because you're so niche and you're so, tied to this box that when that box, opens up and it gets destroyed, then you don't really have anything else. So, and other thing I found interesting is I know we've asked a lot of artists that we interview, like, what sets you apart? So it's like, damn, do we need to reframe that question? Like, based on this, like, should we ask people what makes you the same, or what makes you great? What makes you,
I mean, I feel like that's just the difference between people saying niggas and kings and queens. Like we saying the same thing.
yeah,
But I feel like another thing is that question kind of makes me think about like streetwear, how everyone like streetwear was such a everybody the wave that everybody wanted to do, like, oh, I'm coming out with a streetwear brand. And then like now today it's like a lot of people don't even really say streetwear. Like that's it's not like a really common thing anymore. But people are still like of course they're attaching on to it. Like you have your diamond, you have 10 deep.
Pink Dolphin, all that.
Yeah, it's like all those different kind of brands. And they're not the wave. It's like it's all high designer and all that kind of stuff now. Like I mean, it has it all as it always been, but the streetwear was definitely like dominated some years ago. Like the name, everybody was trying to come up with that kind of thing.
Right, and then streetwear was kind of like early 2010s, 2000s time. But then when they started collaborating, when North Face would do something with somebody big, or
Yeah,
like Dior and Jordan, like that's I feel like that's when it kind of changed to like that high fashion. So it's like,
the dynamic because everybody wants to be high fashion and have high prices, and
right,
people don't like things unless it's like at a high price tag because it the high price tag means its value.
hmm so it's like those brands aren't even really niche anymore, like they were at some point. But and there are still some niche streetwear brands out there that I've seen just on looking online. But I feel like what Donald Glover was saying, like, that don't make you great just because you got this crazy different pattern on your shit. That don't make your shirt great. That don't make your brand great at the end of the day. So I don't know. I just think it's something interesting to kind of keep in mind when, I mean, of course, for us, because we trying to build this brand in the podcast, and I'm sure other listeners trying to build their brands as an artist and as they selves and stuff like that. So I think it's an interesting perspective.
Yeah, I remember the back in the day when they had the Supreme Louis V,
Yeah.
and everybody was just on that like wave, like, oh yeah, that shit's so dope and all that. And that really just made me feel like, man, like you really killing streetwear. Like that's kind of how I took it.
You don't like it? I thought it was kind of dope.
It kind of looked like that clothing just looked like a gang flag to me. Um,
Yeah, with the paisley and all that on there.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, it was just like I don't know exactly what they're going for. It wasn't my type of style, but Supreme they're just a box logo like on their stuff, and they're just known for being I feel like being simplistic as possible.
right. Just that box logo on a t-shirt, or like they might have like the box logo a million times on a t-shirt, but it's really just that same thing. I guess it is kind of, that might be, you might have pinpointed it. That might have been where it died, or it might have been like when a certain brand came in,
Or when they had the Oreos,
the Oreo.
Supreme.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Now that's branding though. They just trying to get everywhere. Like, to have their own Oreo is crazy. Like, everybody don't have their own Oreo. Like, it's celebrities that don't have their own Oreo, artists that don't have their own
They
Oreo.
was
So
charging a hella price for some Oreos.
that's the thing.
It's like
That- That's the
You
American
you
dream.
killing it.
That's the American dream, though.
That you killing the brand right there.
To finesse the people, like that's the American dream. To just get, like, you see how many billionaires out here, like, to overprice for some Oreos that cost $3. Like, come on.
Right.
I respect it, but I hate it at the same time.
Give you that little pack, $3 per Oreo.
$3 per
Man,
Oreo.
at least you can show that you like flexing though. Like if
Crazy thing is, people probably not even eating them. They just gonna keep them forever.
or at least keep the wrapper.
Yeah, just to say, yeah, I had the Supreme Oreos, and that's the thing.
Like you,
Like,
you ain't eating on these.
hell no. I mean, they taste the same, I'm sure. But that's the thing, though. You with brands and stuff, and when it turned to like high fashion, and it's like when people when they figured out, like, damn, we can really finesse these niggas. Like, when they saw the resale of Supreme shit, they was like, okay, we about to release all kind of shit, and they gonna pay that price.
Yeah.
Like,
Like
Supreme water,
Supreme's dope. Like,
it's cool.
man, like what they was able to do and what they're able to accomplish from their brand. I don't know where exactly it began, and I would love to like have someone's opinion who really knows more about it. But how they began with just like a box logo and it just became so big,
Hmm.
it baffles me. Like all these brands that want to just like and how many people in their audience that just want to buy it because it's so simple.
So simple, and I'm pretty sure they probably had. It was probably somebody back in the day that was wearing it a lot,
Probably a
and then
rapper.
yeah, that's what I'm thinking. I know they had like the Raekwon shirt like way back in the day, like where Raekwon was on there. I think
I
I
like
might
how
be mistaken.
Bape does it though, where like when they partner with people, they make the
Oh yeah,
little cartoons and like it's like a little artistic thing to it.
yeah, the
And
little Milo character.
yeah, they make model characters of all the people. Like that's dope.
Hmm.
But
Yeah, I
that's it's a
always
bit
like
more.
Bape. I always like Bape. Supreme, like you said, it's cool, but it's so simple that it's just like I'm not about to pay all that for a logo. And I just think that speaks to just capitalism in general. Like, people overcharging for some shit. Like, even Nikes and Jordans, like, it costs $20 to make that shoe, but we paying 200. So that's capitalism. That's just what's going on here in the U.S. these days, man. So speaking of Supreme and Bape and all the brands that we just kind of mentioned, we kind of want to talk about building a brand, um, and just how important it is in 2022 and like these days and stuff like that. So we kind of want to talk about why it's so important, and kind of talk about the people that are doing it, that's been doing it, and just kind of just that in general. So, I mean, right now, um, and this is kind of the conversation we was having beforehand, like, for rap specifically and hip hop. It used to be an artist could just be an artist, and that's just kind of what it is. But then now, I feel like what has to happen is now they have to brand themselves. They got to go on these interviews and show who they are. They have to stay on social media and kind of say things, and portray themselves in a certain way, so
Yeah,
the
that
brand is there.
their social media has to be all up to par.
Yeah.
Before like a business or these music companies will even talk to you, like they have to have already like an audience going. They have to see engagement, has all these artists to talk about. So it's like these artists now are they kind of just following Jay Z's mold of how he was talking about I am a business. That's kind of the question that I want to ask.
Yeah, I mean, I think so. I don't know if they necessarily got it from him, because I feel like, yeah, Jay-Z is so influential, but I feel like a lot of the young kids these days don't even know a Jay-Z song. So I think they just kind of got it maybe from somebody younger that did the same thing, that might have did it based on Jay-Z. You know what I mean? So
I mean, the
I
people are popping today are like they was probably around that age where they heard Jay Z. Like you have like your Cardi B, who you have your Rihanna's, people who created these big brands. You have your Nicki Minaj,
hmm
Kendrick Lamar. He's doing commercials. You got even Schoolboy Q's doing a commercial for Tiger Woods. Like I just saw, which was that was real dope to see him doing that. And the song he just put out called Soccer Dad. So he's kind of leaning into like his truth and what kind of how like his life is now. But it just goes along to say like, man, for Schoolboy Q to be like on a Nike um, type of commercial, and like then you
It's
have all
hard.
these artists who like Lil Uzi who's on Calvin Klein, and then you have ASAP Rocky and all these artists. They just building their brand and building their image, and like some of them are even creating these billion-dollar businesses from it.
And I think it's just all about just being able to understand that it's more than just streams and more than just shows and more than just merch.
I can't forget Yeezy as well.
Oh, of course, yeah, of course, Kanye kind of he got the cheat code for that shit, but it's more than just what you can do with your music, and I think that's just part of the education that people need to learn and that people have been learning. So I think that's why it's become so important and why these artists are trying to like get multiple streams of income from A, B, and C. Just because it's more than just what you can do with your music. And music don't last forever, because we see these days the music is so fast food and it just moves so fast. So
It seemed like almost these artists are just trying to create a brand in their image, and it's not so much about the music anymore. Like it's just about creating as big as popularity as I can, and have like all these people tuning in, and then the music is just not the forefront or what they're trying to portray. It's just their image, the jewelry, the cars, the clothes, um, how many dudes or women I can scam. Like it doesn't seem like the music is the forefront, which I feel like is a little bit of digression from what Jay Z was really trying to get out there, because he really built himself up from the music. He came out with a lot of albums and worked his way up to a point where he was like, all right, I am the brand now. But I feel like it's a little backwards now, where people try to create the brand and then they try to become artists.
but you know why? It's because music is not profitable. So it's like but it's a good stepping stone. It's not profitable, but it's a good stepping stone to for people to hear who you are. So if you got a song that's interesting or that catches people's ears, you can parlay that into so many things if you do it right. So I think that's probably why people just be like, okay, I want to do this, I want to do that in life, but let me just do this music right quick so people can know who I am, and then from there they can keep following me, and then now I can sell them some makeup. Now I can sell them some shirts, some shoes. You know what I mean? So I think that's really what it is. Like music is not profitable, but it does what I hate about it is like you said,
Them
like the
Travis
music is
Scott
not
Nikes though. Whew.
hard.
Yeah.
I mean, we're not gonna see none for a while, but they are
No,
hard.
he
But
coming out with some now, pretty soon.
for real,
Yeah, that's what I saw. So yeah, he still got the partnership going.
no. But what I hate about it is like you kind of have said is that the music is not as important, and for somebody like me that really enjoys music, good, honest music, where people try, like to actually try to make a good song, it's not that anymore. And I know we probably done said this many times on the podcast, like this kind of same, you know, um, rhetoric or whatever you want to call it.
I
But
mean, that's just what it is today. It's just like people are taking advantage of the music scene and how big of a cultural impact it is. It's really rap music and hip hop music. It's a cultural thing. It's like it's just being hot. It's what's today. Like that's all they look at. Like music today is about being popular or being. It is pop.
I hate saying that just because I don't be wanting to sound like an old head. Like, oh no, today's music is not what it used to be. But sometimes I feel like that can be true. I guess it's true at this point in time. Um,
But we're talking about branding. It's like branding is a whole different game that's more prevalent today than it was before. Like artists back in the day weren't getting these huge, like, well, hip hop artists and rap artists weren't getting these big deals from Nike and all that kind of stuff before.
mm-mm.
It's because they became like the most poppin' culture and what's out there like today is that then they start getting all this notice, and they see that their image and their popularity is what bringing people to come and buy their product like it is today. So I mean that's something that's different. It's just I got to give respect to Jay Z and how he was able to like. I feel like that's the biggest way he was able to mold this new culture.
Mm-hmm. I would say some other people that might have did it was maybe Snoop Dogg, because I know he had like the porno movies. like in the early 2000s, and then he had like he just kind of spread his business side around like kind of early.
Yeah, Snoop Dogg does everything. Games, crypto, like NFTs and all that kind of stuff. Like I see him on Call of Duty. He has music. Like it's like he DJs. Like what doesn't Snoop Dogg do? Like at this point, that's what I'm trying to figure out. It's like he's willing to
Man,
do anything, and he's just having fun. Like what rapper has fun as much as Snoop Dogg does? I can't name one.
I mean, what rapper can have fun like him? He has so many connections, and everybody know him. Like he's probably like one of the most known people rappers in the world.
Yeah, he's probably the most popular rapper on the world for sure. Like he's
Yeah.
on TV with Martha Stewart, smoking a blunt, making some food.
Mm-hmm. Sprite or no, it was a Corona commercial, and like,
TV show roast.
mm-hmm. No,
Like
yeah, he's up there.
he always stays true to himself though every time. Like Super Bowl, like he gonna smoke a blunt before coming on stage. Like
Right.
it's just like,
That's the brand though. He had to do that.
man, that's him. Like that's not even a branding. That's just like he's gonna do that shit anyway.
How you
He ain't
know?
gonna stop. He ain't gonna stop doing it. How do I know?
How you know Snoop Dogg ain't just the best actor of all time, and he just been branded himself as this person he not even that.
You think Snoop Dogg don't smoke weed all day?
No, he do. He do. I'm just saying like that. I'm just trying to play devil's advocate. Like some people probably be faking with the brands too. And I feel like a lot of people are, because a lot of people talk about they shooters and they raps, and a lot of people talk about they killers, and it's not that. It's not. They not in the streets like that, which is fine. Don't be in the streets, but
It rhymes.
don't lie about it. It do rhyme. Sometimes shit that rhyme be. What I'm saying, that's the point of a rap. It got to rhyme, right? So,
Yeah, it's a
um,
lot of shit that you can rhyme with pop.
yeah,
Like I popped a nigga. Man, that shit hot.
I think one of the worst things that's ever happened to hip hop was when Lil Wayne started rapping nigga with, or he started rhyming nigga with nigga. Like that low key might have been the downfall of this shit. It kind of took the effort away, cause now nigga could be like, I popped a nigga, I shot a nigga, and like it rhyme, but it's just like you rhyme a nigga over and over again. I don't know.
Yeah. Or it could have been Eminem just like consistently rhyming every other word. And I mean it could have been Soldier Boy as well. Like talk about like his extravagant ways of how he shoot people. And it's like, man, what do you like? You had like you was like a 007 agent or something. Like the way he be talking about how he be like on the scene.
You ever seen that Vlad interview when he was talking about that home invasion? That's what you're talking
Yeah,
about.
that's what I'm talking about. Like that was the most funniest story I ever heard ever. He's like, pop,
Right.
pop, pop, pop. What? Then I rolled over and I got him at the door. Like, it's like, man, you the greatest entertainer. Like you need to be like on the stage.
See, but he created that character. He created a character, and he created a brand for himself, and he had to stick to that. He couldn't have got on there being like, yeah, lately I just been, I've been growing my garden and I have tomato. Like he couldn't have went on there and said that shit.
Yeah, he got to be big Draco.
He had to go in there and say some gangster shit. So I think that's where it could get dangerous, like when you're trying to build a brand. And like you said, Snoop is true to himself. So I think when people build a brand, they have to continue to be true to themselves. Or if not, you're gonna have to stand on this shit at some point.
Yeah, it's
You
like
know?
Soldier Boy came up as a dancer. Like he was in there doing you. Like how all of a sudden he turned from a dancer to the most street nigga like possible. like like you was a kid dancing like doing like a bunch of shit like talking about baby napes and stuff all that. But all of a sudden like you the biggest shooter in the game. Like stop it.
You never heard Shootout from back then?
You talking about Pastor A-Rap?
No, it was No, he had a song called Shootout. It was like, let me get him shoot. Let me get him shoot. And like that was like one of his first songs too. So like I don't know. He might have been doing something. I don't know. But I also think Soldier Boy was so young back then that he wasn't even really thinking about building a brand. Like, yeah, he was making his own beats and he was putting this shit all on the internet, but
He wasn't shooting nobody though. He definitely back in the day when he was a kid, like he had his cell phone camera all the time. It was never a gangster image ever. Like it was always just girls, video games. It was dancing. Like it was never like it was never no like type of street like Big Draco. His whole image, like I guess they always be talking about like every 10 years you got to recreate your image and the to keep building it up. And I feel like kind of how like what Diddy does.
Yeah, yeah.
So it just seems like he created this image of being so street, and he just be talking to like some people like real crazy. Be like, you don't have to do that though.
That Young Dolph shit. Yeah, he was
Yeah,
wilding.
Key Glock, like
Yeah.
it just be like, what are you going out the window saying that stuff for? It's like people know you're a comedian. Like you're not gonna shoot somebody like unless it really came down to it for sure. Like,
Self defense.
but even then, like yeah, self defense or whatever. But you rich enough that where you got security, so it's just like you're not walking around by yourself.
Mm-mm. And let me talk about something you just said too, like how Diddy has to keep recreating himself and changing his name and shit. If I had Diddy's money, y'all wouldn't even see me. Y'all would never even hear from me again. Like, I feel like it's a certain point of money where it's gonna work for itself. Like, you don't even have to be out there stamping yourself as, oh, I'm this like you could put it behind like a bit like a business name. It don't even have to be under P Diddy's name. So I feel like he just kind of want to do that just because he want to be in the limelight. But at this point, his money works for itself. He don't have to rebrand himself.
I
He
don't
has brands.
I don't really even think he really even does it as much as he used to, because now it's kind of like brother love, where he's just trying to bridge the gap between black people and show love in the community. I don't think it's necessarily I'm trying to be a producer. I'm trying to make the hottest album this time. Like every image he had back in the day was it was always attached to a project or a new group or something that he was working on. So I feel like now today it's just like he is kind of a step back where he have his fuck it Fridays where he just be chilling, getting
Hmm.
massages, on his skis, whatever, just pretty much showing how rich he is.
Bruh, who's calling him brother love? I never heard nobody call him that. He's Diddy. Like, just leave it like that. I do like the message though. The message behind it is great because, like you said, like we need peace, we need love.
Yeah, we need black people to show the other side where it's not all the street shit, it's not all the gang shit, it's not every dude, every black man got to be emasculated, wear a dress. Like it's not on that kind of tone. It's like, yeah, like I've made it to a point where me, my kids are happy, we're all doing good. I'm trying to spread love and trying to build opportunity. And that's what I really fuck with Diddy.
Yeah, man. Shout out to him, man. He got so much damn money. And I feel like when you get that type of money, it's probably easy to just be like, man, I'm not trying to spread no type of positivity. Like I said, if I had that money, I would be the fuck out of here. I wouldn't be trying to change nobody's life, like in as myself, maybe through my business, but for him to like change his name and do that, if that's his real, like, if changing his name is to Brother Love is like really on some like empowerment shit and really like trying to bring some people together shit.
Yeah, remember Diddy was trying to buy 50 Cent some clothes?
Some clothes
Yeah,
for
he's
what?
like 50 Cent was like, what the fuck? Like that shit was like had me dead.
Some
Like
clothes for what?
he's like, man, like what are you trying to buy me some clothes for? He was like, man, like Diddy was like, man, I just thought you need some clothes. That's it. Like trying to just be like bridge together, like figure it out. Like just trying to be nice to each other. Be that brother love.
Hmm. See, that's dope. I guess I can't shit on him then for that name. I ain't gonna say it's a stupid name, but it's just like, nigga, we know you as too many things at this point, but spreading positivity is definitely always the way to go for sure. So
Yeah, that might have been what they meant, but it might have not. So
I feel like he was trying to say, nigga, you broke, like you out here looking dusty. That's the way I took it, but that could just be my fucked up mind.
maybe. But the Queens rapper did call Diddy gay.
The Queen's rapper.
50 Cent.
Oh, I mean, niggas been saying that. for a long time. So I don't know. Ain't none of my business. But Diddy, if you want to send us a Ciroc sponsorship up here, we will gladly take it. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah, I fuck with Ciroc.
Yeah, we love Ciroc here. We love it. Greatest vodka of all time. Unless you don't give us a sponsorship, then I don't fuck with Ciroc. But let's go ahead and get into this next topic. So,
Ciroc boy.
Ciroc boys, we kind of want to get into a conversation about black sitcoms and where they were, where they started, where they went, and then kind of where they are now. Um, I guess let's kind of start like this. What would you say is your favorite black sitcom of all time?
Kind of going a little bit back to what you were saying, like some of the best sitcoms from back in the day that I remember when I was a kid, and today I just feel like it's different.
It
And
is.
what they're trying to portray on camera and how they present the black household is different from the time where it was My Wife and Kids
Mm-hmm.
to the Blackish. And
Definitely.
the topics that are discussed in the shows are a lot different. But still, it's like they both are very important for sure.
The comedy is different too. Like the way they shot is different. Like it's like looking at black families in two different type of universes. You know, from My Wife and Kids to Blackish to Good Times to Cosby Show. Like it's totally different universes that they living in.
And My Wife and Kids, that the dad, Dwayne or
Damon Wayans.
Damon Wayans, yeah, like he was a wealthy dude. Like he had his own business going on. In that show, like yeah, they did pretty well off.
Yeah. I think yeah.
It wasn't no big house like I how Blackish was.
Yeah, Blackish they eating.
Hmm.
They eating good steak and shrimp, lobster, like for real. But you still didn't answer my question though. What would you say is your favorite of all time? If you have one.
Well, I mean, some of my favorites definitely is My Wife and Kids. It was Martin. You had the Wayne's brother. That was definitely some of the past one. The Jamie Foxx show was like, definitely one of my favorites.
So good.
And I don't know. Today it's more or less like I really love the Carmichael show.
Mm-hmm.
I love the South Side. Atlanta is a pretty good show.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean you have some of those shows, but I don't know. It's hard to pinpoint which one's my favorite. What about you?
Man, I think I got to take it by decade. I would say 70s, Sanford and Son. I love Sanford and Son. Like
Oh yeah, for
that low
sure.
key. Yeah, that low key might be my favorite show of all time, just because it just all I can laugh every time. It don't matter if I've seen it before. I'm laughing. 80s is a toss up between Good Times and probably Cosby Show, but I think Cosby Show was like late 80s. Good Times was like early 80s. Um, so those
I
two, and then
wasn't
I
a big
say
fan of Good Times.
no. Any particular reason?
I don't know. I just didn't connect with me, and I didn't like how the characters acted. It just
Hmm.
seemed like a bad portrayal of black people, like how they try to make fun of it, like
Yeah.
Dynamite. Like I
Right.
know
Right.
he
Right.
like I
Right.
know
Right.
like him personally now. I hear anybody who said that in front of him, like he's pretty much ready to fight.
For
Like
sure.
he don't like that image and how he did it back then, and it's just like I could definitely see it now. Like it's like yeah, you just look like you almost making a clown of yourself.
Right. Menstrual show type shit. James Evans. Let me see, cause I don't know, like sort of recently, I was looking at like a video of John Amos who played James Evans on The Good Times, and he said that that's why he left because they was trying to like all the writers on that shit was pretty much white, and when he would try to put an input, they wasn't really having it. They was trying to put their own narrative on what the black life and what the black community was doing. When James Evans or when Florida tried to put in input, Esther Rolle, R.I.P. to her, they weren't going for it, right? And then so he left, and ratings plummeted, and then they was like, "Damn, we should have listened to him." So I think that's real. I think that a lot of times in these black sitcoms, until Cosby Show came though, because I think that when Cosby Show came, and they was rich. Mom's was a lawyer, dad was a doctor. Then the portrayal started getting like a little bit different. Like they even covered like totally. They didn't cover poverty like that. They didn't cover the projects like that
Yeah,
in
things
Cosby
things
Show.
changed for sure for the black community. I mean, back in the day, where it was Sanford and Sons, black people were coming up.
Yeah.
They were definitely doing a lot with like those people were of that age where segregation wasn't so far away.
Hmm.
So it's just like, of course, they have a whole different perspective, and how they was talking to each other was super like wild. Like,
Yeah.
so it just kind of like I think he owned a junkyard.
Yep. Exactly. If he lived and owned in a junkyard, and then his son Lamont, they would be just doing whatever the fuck, and he would always say, I'm coming home, Elizabeth." Yeah, Rallo, and it's man, I don't know. It
Yeah,
just
it
the
was
portrayal
different.
just changed, and what's interesting about this conversation is when I was in college, I did a project about this about black sitcoms, like in one of my classes, and I talked about it. I was like, Sanford and Son, you had Good Times, you had What's Happening Now, and you had like all these sitcoms before Cosby Show, and I kind of put Cosby Show as the focal point of when black sitcoms changed because, like I said, like the portrayal of the black family changed. So then you have Family Matters, then you have Fresh Prince of Bel Air, then you have I don't know who else was rich with money.
People
I
don't
don't
want to
know.
give Bill Cosby his credit these days, though. At this point, so
I mean, understandably so. I guess because of that. Shit that he going through legally. I get it. But I mean, if we
yeah,
if we strip down
Weinstein was a fucking animal.
shit, they don't talk about it though. They be forgetting about him. But yeah. So like, what he did though was incredible, just because it did. I don't know if we can actually measure if what he did and what he put on TV and the portrayal of black people actually helped the perception of black people. I would like to think it did, but I think that he made a good attempt at improving the perception of what black life is and what black life can be. So definitely fuck with Cosby Show. 90s, I'm gonna say Wayne's Brothers
Yeah, he
probably my
definitely didn't
favorite.
even curse, and like
Hell no,
it,
yeah, and his
not even
comedy,
his comedy or none of that. So
yeah. But that shit, that's that like respectability politics. Like, oh, you gotta be perfect. You gotta wear a suit to be respected. Like, nah, fuck that. You should respect all black people regardless of
you got to pull your pants up,
yeah,
tuck your
all that
shirt in.
shit.
But that's definitely around that time for sure.
And that's one of the things I disagree with on Bill Cosby. Like, fuck all that respectability shit. I'm a black man. Just respect me as a black man. Don't matter. It don't matter if I got dreadlocks. It don't matter if I, what I'm saying? Like
I mean,
none of that shit.
that's still today. Really, it's like even in the workplace, it's not really super acceptable to have dreads still.
Right. I mean, but that's what I'm saying. Like that's
And black women
so.
have to deal with that the most with different
Oh
hairstyles they
man,
choose.
for sure. Cause a black woman to come in there with something fresh and laid every week. I swear. And they'll be like, "Oh, Mike, did you grow that? How did you buy that?" Like, I know that shit got to be stressful for them for sure.
Yeah, I'm sure it'd be like, your hair is so curly. I didn't know that. Like if they see him out on the street.
Right? Like, what afro? Can I touch it? Like, that's something that I can't even really understand. Like, I don't think anybody's ever asked to touch my hair
Oh, that was a thing definitely in my school.
for dudes too.
Yeah, when I had the afro, yeah,
Yeah.
dudes, all the dudes, guys, girls, they're like, oh, let me touch your hair.
So I really thought that only happened to black women though. But that's interesting. I never thought that.
Yeah, my hair was a lot longer back then. So
Okay. Okay.
when I
That's
came
real
out with
interesting.
some different black hairstyle, they were so amazed and enamored.
It's so interesting. It's just like, damn, we ain't no damn science project. We not no, what I'm saying? Like, this is not no experiment. Like, this is just how my hair grows. I just got to braid it. Like,
Yeah, like it was definitely very interesting experience. I was like,
yeah, I
man, I
bet.
didn't even think it would be that big a deal. How it was.
Right. Cause this is just what especially growing up in a black family with around black people, like, this is just how it is. Like, people get their hair braided.
Yeah, like I mean, at that time, I took it out. Like I had some like the beginning of dreads and shit at that age, and after that day, I was like, man, I'm taking this out. And
Why you did that?
I don't know. Back then, I was just like, I guess I didn't like the attention.
The attention. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, it's just like I don't want niggas always just talking about my hair, and then like coming up to me how they did. It felt like, I don't know, something to me was just like
It felt like a spectacle.
it was just like they almost pretty much calling me Coolio, and I was just like I was just like nah, it's not. That's not what. Like I
Yeah.
felt it. I was just like
Yeah, cause they love to say you look like any other person with like if I had like a big ass beard, they'd be like, "Yo, there go Rick Ross." Like they love to just pin you on somebody just cause you.
it's always gonna be a rapper too. It ain't never gonna be someone like
It ain't. It's never gonna be no doctor.
nah.
Never. But speaking of somebody that had the mini dreads, I used to fuck with Wayne's brothers heavy. Jamie Foxx show heavy. Um, Fresh Prince, yeah. Martin, yeah. But I really feel like Wayne's brothers and Jamie Foxx were my favorite. Steve Harvey show was pretty good too though. In the 90s.
Yeah, that was alright.
You ain't fuck with Steve Harvey show?
It was cool.
Yeah.
I like Bernie Mac show. I was just watching that yesterday.
Oh man. Yeah, I was watching this the other day too. R.I.P. to Bernie Mac, man. One of my favorite comedians of all time.
Like he definitely had like a black family, and like how he brought in like his sisters, kids. Like,
And I think that was slightly based on a true story too. I think he really did take in his sister's kid.
Man, yeah, he was just a great dude for sure.
Yeah, man. He just the topics that they covered on there were just so interesting, and just the way that he framed it. Like the writers on that show was just impeccable. Like I love the Bernie Mac show.
Yeah, they didn't do the Aunt Viv where they changed out the dark skin for the light skin lady.
Oh my god, she's so fine too.
Wanda?
Talita Smith. Yeah, Wanda.
Oh,
Oh
yeah.
my god. Bad one. But yeah, after that, like yeah, you got My Wife and Kids. Of course everybody hates Chris.
Even on My Wife Kids, they changed the daughter.
They did? Oh, they did.
It was a dark skinned girl, then they changed it to a light skin.
They changed Claire. Oh shit, I just remember that. That's crazy. See, colorism is real. That's a whole different podcast, but that's a real thing, like that I feel like is missed a lot. Like, cause we've seen it in Fresh Prince, we've seen it in My Wife and Kids, we see it in movies when fucking Zoe Saldana played Nina Simone, a dark skinned woman, and she's like Latina.
And they
Like,
didn't even when it comes to like the agent, and they be like James Bond. I be seeing so many times where Idris Elba be like, man, I could do that. I could play that. Or like what people be like wanting him to be, but it just be like, why? Like it's a white character. It's just like, do it matter?
he's been white historically. It's a fictional character.
Yeah, it's like it's not even that big a deal. Like anybody could play the role. Even like with these Marvel movies and shit like that.
Yeah.
You be like, just because that's how it was, and like who cares? Like anybody can play this role. Like as long as they're doing a good job and they're portraying the character correctly.
And we know Idris Elba will fucking kill that shit, because this nigga he had us thinking he was American.
I guess maybe to play devil's advocate a little bit. If a white dude played Black Panther, I guess I would be a little like, what's going on here?
Damn. That makes a lot of sense, actually. I didn't think about it like that.
Like imagine if it was Ryan Reynolds playing Black Panther.
Bro, I would be so pissed off, man. But is it the same? Is that the same thing? Can we really equate that to the same thing? Like James Bond being black and then Black Panther being white? Because James Bond,
maybe they can have that character.
Because this is the thing, though. Black Panther is from Africa. In the comics books, he's black. James Bond is, damn, they both fictional characters. I don't know if it's the same thing, man.
Yeah, I feel like it's debatable for sure.
It definitely is. So I guess to wrap up this black sitcoms conversation, I feel like it got kind of shaky after My Wife and Kids. And
what about today? Some of the shows though. What are some of your favorites from today? I know I said Carmichael's show, but
yeah, it's not a lot though. It's not even a lot to choose from. Like Carmichael's show was really good. Insecure, I guess that's a sitcom. That was really good.
That's why I be feeling like it ain't that many. Like today, like of course you have your Blackish, and then they had the spinoff with Grownish, but
yeah,
it was cool.
Yeah, I like the Grownish more than Blackish. There is a show I've been meaning to check out. Miss Pat has a sitcom.
Oh yeah, I saw that whole series. It
Yeah, I
was
got
it
to
was
check that one
it
out.
was pretty good. They touched on some deep topics, but yeah, it was cool. It's funny.
Lil Rel had his show. I didn't get to check the whole thing out, but it was pretty good from what I saw.
Yeah, it was all right.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
can
So
see
I
why I
mean,
got canceled though.
word,
Yeah, like man, I was really upset about the Carmichael show. Like that cast and
man.
everything was just like, and the topics that they like
Tiffany Haddish was on there.
getting, they
Like
got real deep into like certain topics, which I loved it. Like it got
they
dark. They was
did.
able to get dark comedy, which I'm a real big fan of, like dark comedy and like a bit of
Hmm.
satire and stuff like that. But Lil Rel was more like he's a different type of comedian. He's more upbeat,
Yeah,
more
yeah.
positive. His,
Definitely.
yeah, his comedy is like he like doing characters, like for sure. And the Carmichael, I feel like more like he was being himself.
Because I feel like if you watch his stand up, you can tell that Gerard Carmichael has a different type of brain where he just don't think. He's just a dark person. And
Yeah,
Lil Rel is not like that in his comedy. So yeah, I can see why they were so different.
and the dad, David
David
Allen.
Allen Greer.
Oh my god,
Yep.
he was
Legend.
so fucking funny in that show.
Hilarious.
Like
Him and Loretta Devine. Two legends. Two
the
black.
episode about the gun,
Hmm.
like, like that shit was hilarious. If y'all ain't haven't seen the Carmichael show, you gotta check it out.
Please check it out, man. They shouldn't have canceled that one.
Carmichael quit it because I've had
Oh,
to
did
do
he?
with the writing and being able to do what he wanted to do, and then he was getting so much backlash from like what was on the show.
Man,
Cause
Dave Chappelle fucked the game up.
yeah, for sure.
Dave Chappelle. Oh, is that a sitcom? Is the Chappelle show a sitcom?
Oh yeah, for sure. That's another like one that dives real into real deep matters and topics, and like it's really hated amongst like there's a lot of backlash that always comes from it, and then it always just seems like the show just ends.
Right.
They wanna change it so much, but it'd be like you get these shows like South Park and stuff like that, and Family Guy like who be going and they have like 15, 20 seasons, still going strong. It's like it's only the black shows when they try to get deep and real into it that it just when the stop and the pause from someone comes, like
Hmm.
it really does just stop.
That's so interesting how that happens. Because them motherfuckers been on, like you said, 20, 30 seasons, been done offended damn near every sector of the world. And they still rocking, but
Literally every culture.
every culture. Chappelle show can't rock no more. Like, they even canceled the Cleveland show. Like,
Hmm.
you know what I mean? So,
I don't even know about. That's kind of how I feel like with white writers making a show, the Cleveland show. And then I never rock with that.
never, bro. I've seen it before, but like,
Never watched it.
I always cringed when I watched it because
Even Cleveland and the Family Guy show, just cringeworthy
it was
character.
just like, come on, like y'all really, this what we
Like
doing?
like how he always fought the bathtub and like at his house. Ouch. Like it,
Yeah.
yeah,
Or
it's
no,
weird.
you know the character that
Really
really
weird
pissed me
character.
off. The character that really pissed me off in Family Guy is that weatherman where he would be like, "It's gonna rain," and then it would just like cut to the next scene. Like what? Like this is what we doing, Family Guy?
Yeah, just a
Come
loud,
on.
angry black dude that just busting out and saying that. It's just like it's just like white writers of like black comedy and like culture. It's just like it's very cringe, like what you were saying.
Hmm.
Like how they want, like even Dave Chappelle spoke on it with the Oprah. Like how all they want all these black comedians to wear a dress. Like there's been so many instances. It'd just be like in the Dave Chappelle, like when he was on the Oprah, he was like, I had to literally talk to the producer, the guy who making the skit, um, the writers. Everybody kept coming back to me and telling him to wear a dress. He was just like, "What is this, Brokeback Mountain?" Like, like it just be like, what? Like
Yeah, yeah.
it gets to the point where it's just like he said eventually when it was finally realized that he put his foot down. It's like, man, I'm not wearing no dress. Like, stop asking me. Then they brought him another like skit like within 15, 20 minutes. He was like, so y'all had
Yeah.
this written the whole time?
The whole
Like,
time.
but yeah. like trying to convince them, like emasculate. I don't know. That's kind of like emasculating black man. Like that's kind of how I take it, and how they do that to our comedians, and try to make us seem and portray characters that it doesn't have a great portrayal of who we are, and it's a very diverse and like like everyone sees someone like a black man, and they be like they almost have like a predetermined like expectation how they think that I'm gonna act. Like before they even see me, like women are just like walked on the other side of the street kind of like mentality.
Oh, do you want the chicken? Like if you go to a restaurant, you want the chicken, right? Like, bitch, I like seafood. You know what I mean? Like it's just things that have been ingrained in people that they just assume that that's what it is. And you know what I think is interesting about the dress thing is that I've never seen a black man in a dress unless it was on a movie, unless it was a comedian. So it's like, what stereotype are they trying to even portray? Like, it's not even a stereotype at that point. It's just like they just trying to do that. Like they're just trying to put that image out there. And I
Yeah,
don't
and they
want to
always be
get
like,
too
"Oh,
deep in
it's
it.
so funny." Like it'd be like, "What's so funny about that?"
I don't
Like
know.
I don't understand that why comedians think dressing up as a woman is so hilarious, and like it just seemed like you're almost just taking a money grab. You just like
Pretty much, because you know they're paying.
yeah, it's like you're being asked so many times, and like these white writers just think they're so hilarious to put a dress on a black man. Like it's kind of like it's just weird.
You know, I guess I'm gonna come clean, man. It has been a couple of times when I thought it was funny. A couple characters, only just Medea and
Big
Big
Mama.
Mama's house. Yeah, that's the only two that I feel like they was both still kind of out of bounds and shouldn't have happened, but they are still kind of entertaining at times. Um,
Yeah, I mean sometimes like it might have been funny, it might have worked, but it's definitely like it wasn't necessary.
right,
Like
exactly.
Tyler Perry, like he made that entire Medea show himself.
He liked that dress.
But the thing is with like other comedians, like it wasn't like that. Like they wasn't saying that they're like, oh yeah, put me in the dress and I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that. Like nah,
Hmm.
that's different.
Yeah, it just seemed like something that a lot of people fall victim to. Like a lot of the big black actors, comedians. I mean, we ain't never seen Denzel and Lawrence Fishburne. Like we ain't never seen like a lot of people do it,
You ain't
but
seen Samuel Jackson put on
hell
no
no.
dress.
Samuel Jackson will cuss them motherfuckers out.
Morgan Freeman, for sure.
Hell no, he ain't put no dress. You
It's
know what I
like you
mean?
might
Like
just have a certain amount of respect about yourself. It's like say no and mean it.
I wonder who was the first one to do it.
I'm
Like
sure it's people like way back in the day.
like
Um,
30s, 40s, 50s probably.
yeah, around
I
that
don't
time for
know.
sure.
I think in our time, I think it might have been Eddie Murphy on
Back in the
Nutty
day
Professor.
when they had like all the black actors wearing makeup
Hmm.
and red lipstick and shit.
Minstrel shows, yeah,
Yeah, so
yep, all that shit. Which that's another form of just like it's not emasculation, but it's like,
it almost is though. Like making black dudes wear lipstick and
but that's like the big lip. That's
like you're
like the
making them a
Sambo.
clown, like pretty much.
That's like the Sambo thing, though. Like that's like the Sambo is that big lipped character that they like
Like
to
har
just
har har.
right. Like that was so funny. But the thing is, it is funny to people that's look at black people in a certain way. Like that's the thing. So it's like we sitting here like, damn, why is it so funny to you? But they think it's funny just because they have a different lens on how they look at us.
Yeah.
So
Like when I
I
be
don't know.
watching Justin Bieber, and all this street get up and gangster wear.
He was the
That
same.
was funny as hell.
He was right, like, but it's not though. Like, but he was the same nigga talking about nigger, nigger, nigger.
Like
He
all
was
of
the
his music
same one.
and harmony too.
You ever see? You seen that video before when he said that?
Yeah, I saw it.
Yeah, like, come on, dog. Like, but you want to be street? It's another funny Justin Bieber video that we can get off of Bieber.
Oh, Joe Rogan too. Har har har.
Oh man, get him the fuck
Planet
out of
of the
here.
Apes, walking into a bar. I'll see
Like, come
all
on
black
now.
people. Like,
It's fucking stupid. You ever seen that video of Justin Bieber when he went to like it was like Inglewood or Crenshaw and like his tire got flat and they made him sing for him? Bro, that was one of the funniest videos of all time, bro. He was singing his heart out like probably like, yo, who can come get me? Like somebody please come save me.
better have him sing Baby too.
Damn, I forgot what he's saying. I don't know if he's saying that. But yeah, that's a funny video. That's that payback for trying to say racial slurs and shit, you know?
Yeah.
But
It ain't funny until it's funny, huh?
yeah, that's how it be. But I guess to wrap it up, I mean, where would you want to see black sitcoms? I guess in the future, like what needs to change at this point?
I feel like it's going in the right direction. Like we're getting a lot more black people that's sitting in the room and writing these scripts and these skits. And I feel like you can even see it with like the grownish and the blackish, um, and the different kind of topics. They're not only talking about black people struggling and being gangsters. It's like finally we're seeing the characters where we are intelligent, we are businessmen, we are rich, we are engineers, we are doctors. It's like you're starting to see the the real portrayal of a black man and black woman, like in which are insecures. It's like you finally you get the it's a breath of fresh air, just like getting to see this kind of TV. And I'm liking in the direction. I just want to see more of it. And it almost seems like we're going on different platforms to try to get more of our content out, like with Bel Air, with Bel Air.
Hmm. You know what's kind of getting in the way though? I feel like reality TV might be getting in the way of the black sitcom just because I feel like a lot of people's attention is on that. Like a lot of people watch the Real Housewives and what's the other one like Marriage in Huntsville or something like that. And I
Yeah, I mean
think
that's not
that
that's all racist though. The Real Housewives.
you said it's all racist.
Yeah, it's a lot of all
How
races
how,
on that show.
how
There's
you
so
how you
many
figure that?
different seasons. There's Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, LA, like
Oh no, I'm talking
Atlanta,
about the
like
Atlanta one. The Atlanta. I'm talking about the black one. I'm talking about the shit that we watch, that the black community watches and pays attention to.
oh okay. I
Like,
was like my
you know
my
what I
girl
mean?
watches all of them. It's not so
Yeah,
I
yeah, that's what they
see I
do.
be seeing like a lot of different ones and it's definitely not only black though. That's not
No,
the
yeah,
majority. That's not the majority.
yeah. But I'm just saying, like, that gets in the way, like, of what people watch.
It
So
probably
people paying
started
attention.
with like the Jersey Shores and like the Flavor of Love
Yeah,
and like how big it
real
became.
world.
Yeah, even what was the awful the lady that came off of Flavor of Love and she had her own
I
show.
love New York.
Yeah, oh yep, like those shows.
I love Tiffany Pollard.
Like man, like
Those shows were so. I remember watching them back in the day. Like those were so great.
it made
You
reality
know.
TV definitely pop what it is today though. That was definitely part of it.
Oh, for sure.
And
I
then
mean, I think Real World and Road Rules was like the first one, like in the '90s.
yeah,
But then from there, just Survivor
then
came,
you
and
had
you
your
had
Paris Hilton show, and then it
oh
became
yeah, Simple Life.
yeah, and then it became like the Kardashians after that.
Right.
Like
I was about to say it was some shit called it was like OC or like Orange County or some shit like that. That was like right before the Kardashians, but it was like that same. The Kardashians took that format from like the OC,
mm,
and then from there, the Kardashians is like up. Like you can't take them down. Like they set for life.
oh yeah, they've reached the point of like media and how much money they were able to attain from popularity where they're definitely on a different side of the table now. Like they're not bargaining for a low fees and they're pretty much telling people this is what it is at this point. Or we'll create or they would just create their own network to be honest. I feel like that's what will happen.
Damn, what would even be on that shit? Some bullshit.
Be the same thing.
Just reruns because I know they got hella episodes.
Yeah, they just create their own content.
Hmm.
And they know they have enough money to do it now. So anybody's just kind of just partnering with them. Like
Right,
cuz they
right.
want to just be a part of the brand and because they know how much money it will make.
Shit, all they gotta do is get a good camera and cameraman. They just shoot it at the crib because they can crib look like a movie set. I'm sure. You know. But the reason I brought it up is because I feel like the tension needs to be taken away from reality TV and go back to sitcoms. And then I feel like then the good writers will come in, then some more attention will be on it, and then we can have as many as we had in the '90s, where it was like there was like 20 different ones. Like it was LL Cool J had a sitcom, like fucking
Oh yeah, he did have a
in the
sitcom.
house.
Yeah,
Yeah, like fucking smart guy, like you know what I mean? Malcolm and Eddie. Like
sister,
it was
sister.
oh my god. That was one of my favorites too. Like shout out to Sister Sister, man.
Yeah, the smart guy was fun. Was a good one too.
Yeah,
But
it
those
was
like
fucking
Disney
hilarious.
ones too. You
Yeah,
know
that's
that
true. They was
like
kind of
That's So
like
Raven kind of ish.
aimed at kids, but there was some adult content sometimes. But
Mm-hmm.
yeah, so all in all, hoping black sitcoms get back to glory. So I guess from there we can just move on to this game that we have called Love and Hate. And so Love and Hate is where we take a couple albums, we kind of talk amongst ourselves and kind of talk about, do we love it or do we hate it? And love means you love every song straight through. I'm playing it, no skips. Hate means anything else. So it's no in between. You either love it or you hate it. So let's get into it. So the first one I want to bring up for you, Rod, is Usher Confessions. Do you love it? Do you hate it? How do you feel about it?
Yeah, that was probably my favorite album from Usher. Was Confessions, and during that time when I was a kid, like that album was he was one of the biggest R and well he probably was the biggest R&B artist of that time. Like there's just so many songs on there. That, yeah, and I was definitely a little kid singing to every last one of them.
Okay.
I'm trying to pull up some songs from Confessions. I didn't have the album.
Only one I can think about is the one with Jadakiss.
Yeah, only that on Confessions. It's yeah, Burn, Superstar, Bad Girl, My Boo. Like yeah, there was a lot of songs on this album right here that like I really fucked with.
Yeah, I think the best one was probably Can You Handle It, Superstar, um, Throwback. Those are my favorites. I don't like the singles was the singles and they was huge songs, but I
Yeah,
like the little deep cuts.
yeah, like from start to like the finish for sure on this album. But yeah, it's a nice throwback right there. So another album I'm gonna bring up is Kaleidoscope Dream by Miguel.
Man, I'm looking for him. Where the fuck is he at? Kaleidoscope Dreams. First off, I gotta figure out how to spell that shit. Kaleidoscope Dream. I just want to look at the track list right quick. Um,
Yeah, it's 2012.
yeah. Um, this one, honestly, obviously the intro track "Adorn" is a classic. Like I don't like to use that word when I'm using it in a serious way. I don't like to use that lightly.
There was a lot of songs on here that was are considered classics now.
No, not "Adorn," not "Adorn." Like "Adorn" is different.
Yeah, I mean they had How Many Drinks, Kaleidoscope Dream.
Nah, nah, not like "Adorn." I mean, that's how I look at "Adorn." Is like that's gonna be one of the ones in 50 years where people still gonna listen to it and have that same feeling. But in terms of the whole album, I don't like this whole album. I'm not even gonna lie. Um, so I just off top, I just got to say hate. I like a couple songs. I like "Adorn," "Do You," um, "Pussy Is Mine" is good. That's pretty much the only ones that I really like off of her. How Many Drinks cool just because Kendrick was on it. But yeah, that's how I feel about that one.
Okay.
So
So what's the next one?
the next one I have for you is keeping it R&B. Frank Ocean, Channel Orange. How do you feel about that one?
This is probably one of my favorite albums of all time. Not just rap, hip hop, R&B, like just overall, like always an album that I tend to go right back to and I can listen to at pretty much any time, and I would sit there probably listen to the entire album. Um, this album from start to finish. was art right here. Like there was Pink Matter with Andre 3000.
Oh man.
You have Forrest Gump, Lost, Pyramids, Pilot Jones, Super Rich Kids, Sierra Leone, Thinking About You. Like, yeah, it's like, literally, yeah, I can go off naming every song. Bad Religion. Like, yeah, every
Yeah.
single song on this project was fire. And I feel like this kind of was one of those albums where the his stardom just like really blew up and grew. And this is
Hmm.
what people continuously wanted from Frank Ocean, but we just didn't get.
That nigga took a detour.
Yeah, he just left like the entire music scene
Yeah.
until he came back with the album Blonde.
Yeah. Blind and endless. Yeah. I fuck with I fuck with Blind too, but Channel Orange is just like it's just so complete. It's just so cohesive. Um,
Yeah, and
Great
then
writing.
it's just like he's a different person. Like like all these years later, um, going from 2012 and then Blonde, which was more coming into like the new age R&B sound. I mean, he always kind of created his own kind of wave and lane, but I mean, 2016, he kind of delved more like I don't know, in my opinion, Channel Orange, he kind of came out the closet a bit, like around that time.
Yeah, I think it was that
And
time.
then
Yeah.
Blonde was like, all right, he's been living for some years, and then he just completely disappeared, and this is what he was working on. And it was just it was Blonde was a good project. There was definitely some good songs on there,
Yeah.
but uh, yeah, if he was to say if I love or hate Blonde, I would definitely say hate.
Yeah. Honestly, I don't like every song on Blind, but I really, really like Blind. But I can definitely say I love Channel Orange though, just because the way the memories it brings back and just like I said, it's so cohesive and like just the live. It felt like live instrumentation on the album too that I really fuck with. His writing is impeccable. Like it's not. There's so many things I can say. What do you feel like is the best song on Channel Orange?
Every song really, but if I was to choose one, it would probably be Pyramids.
Yeah, I
It was
fuck with
like
Pyramids.
a super long song. It was very like instrumental, like beats and just the music. And yeah, it was just like it's a complete vibe.
Yeah, I remember coming back from home, coming to East Lansing. Like I'd just be driving by myself playing Pyramids, like over and over again. Like that shit was good. And I don't like playing songs over and over, but that was one of the ones.
Yeah, just like the whole music and the context, everything was just like, yeah, what you're talking about with the writing. Writing was just top notch on this that project.
He is honestly one of the greatest writers I've ever heard.
Yeah,
Like
for sure.
to me, I don't know if anybody else feel like that, but to me, yeah,
So to bring it to like some more good writers and some of the best of our time is Jay-Z and Beyonce. And they had a collaborative project, I think in 2018, The Carters, and yeah, like Everything Is Love.
yeah. I mean, it's cool. I really don't feel no type of way about this album, honestly. So I mean, it sounds like hate, so I'm just gonna say hate. I can't even really remember a lot about this album. I remember Ape Shit because Quavo was on there. But other than that, like I wasn't really rocking with this album like that. I like what it stands for, I guess, but yeah, it's not.
I definitely feel like for a Beyonce and a Jay-Z album, this was one of the ones that came and went,
Yeah, it did.
but it was a really great album. And then they had like yeah, Ape Shit had a cool video to it. Um, yeah, it's just good seeing like a power couple like that, a black power couple like that, and like they're both like at the top of like music in their own categories and just music and as a whole, really, and come together for a project, husband and wife. And when I listen to this, it's one of those projects that I feel like people are gonna tune into like later on, like, and they're just gonna be like, "What? Damn,
Yeah.
I missed this." Like,
Like, oh shit, they had an album?
yeah, be like, "Oh, I never heard this before." But yeah, there's a lot of great songs on this album. I really actually like. I really like this album for sure.
You feel like you love it or hate it?
I love what it stands for.
Okay.
So
I feel that. Nah, I totally agree with that. So to wrap it up for myself, I will go ahead and give you Pusha T's Daytona. How do you feel about that one?
if you know, you know. Like this album right here was, man, fire. This is I believe this is the album he just came out with, like, um I don't know if this was before the Drake beef or afterwards.
It was after.
Yeah, but when he came up this little seven, this is why I feel like Kanye was doing those 7-song projects
Yeah.
for everyone.
Tiana Taylor one was really good too.
Like this shit right here, Daytona was fire. The song with Rick Ross, Hard Piano. What would Meek do with Kanye? Infrared. Like, yeah, every song on this project was, when we talk about great writers, like this was beautiful right here. Santeria, like he killed this album. And then the cover was like
It was Whitney Houston's Bathroom.
hell yeah. Like
Mm-hmm.
it was just art.
Yeah. Yeah, this one was cool. I really like Santeria. That's pretty much the only one that I would probably play again, personally. But beats were pretty good. Yeah.
So to go ahead and wrap mines up, I got Harlem World by Mace.
That's a heavy hitter right there. Harlem World. Let me look at the track list. I actually have this one. Like, this is one of the ones I have on actual CD for the young kids listening. That's a disc that you put into a machine and it fucking plays music. But
I don't know nothing about that.
exactly. So I have this one on CD. Man, like, I think for that reason I gotta say Love. You know, I could definitely play this one straight through. I even like the last song, Jealous Guy, where he was singing. Like, that one is kind of, I don't know what it is about that one, but I fuck with that song too. Um, 24 Hours to Live with the fucking Locks and DMX and Black Rob. Like, what? What You Want with Total. Feel So Good with Kelly Price. Niggas Wanna Act with Busta Rhymes. Like, what? Looking at Me, produced by fucking Pharrell in '97. Neptunes in '97. Like, come on. Like, you. What else we talking about? Like, this one is a love.
Yeah, that's surprising because this album had 20 tracks. So yeah, this was over an hour of work, and this was probably his best album that he came out with.
It had like 4 or 5 interludes though, but yes, I do agree this was his best album, even though I haven't heard his other ones. But
I know he came out with something recently, but where he was
word?
coming at Diddy again for not paying him back in the day what he feel like he deserved.
No, that was an Instagram live. That wasn't no album.
Oh, I thought he came out with a project or something.
Not that I know of. I don't see nothing on Wikipedia about no new project. He has one coming, I think. But yeah, that Diddy thing, which is a IG live where he was kind of airing them out. But it don't take away from how great this album is, just because.
Yeah, this was 97 too.
Yeah, straight through. Damn, that was 25 years ago. Niggas getting old.
Yeah, that was a minute ago. All right, so let's go ahead and wrap this episode out. This is the Friends Podcast. Make sure you subscribe everywhere. We're on iHeartRadio, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Amazon. We're on Google, on YouTube. Check us out on Instagram at the Friends Pod. Make sure you click the follow there. And we're gonna go ahead and outro this episode. And a highlight that I want to go ahead and put out for something I've heard recently. And I kind of brought up in, I believe, a previous episode, a few singles that I was really excited about, and then the project had just came out, and that's the last ones left with EST Gee and 42 Dugg. So you got a Detroit artist, 42 Dugg, and then I believe EST Gee is from Kentucky,
Yeah, Louisville.
yeah, somewhere around there. But yeah, this
Louisville.
album right here is like if you like shooting stuff up, or if you real about that like hood gangster music, like, and they just talking they shit, and they was able to be so cohesive together and just being on the same label, and the music sounds really good. There's a lot of good songs on here, like Thump Shit. I know some of the songs I brought out in the past was Free the Shiners, Hotter Than G, Who Hotter Than G, Strictly for the Gangsters. Like there's a lot of songs on here. Even Spin, like that beat, the way the beat and everything comes in on when Fortitude Dugg chorus is crazy.
Did they put 5500 on there with Lil Baby and Rodriguez?
No, that's not on here.
I think that was on ESTG last album. But that song go hard though.
Yeah, so it was a real good project and good effort from them, and it looks like it's gonna be a top selling album for whatever week it come out. So
That's what's up. I'm about to go listen to that one. I'm about to go drill something later. But let me go ahead and take it down a little notch and highlight some R&B shit. So I've been listening to Alex Isley's Marigold. So she's an R&B singer that I've been on for a couple of years. But she's so good. Like her pitch is perfect, and like she has such an angelic voice, and she makes good music. Actually, it was Alex Isley and Jack Dine on the production. So definitely go check that out. Some of my favorites are Still Wonder. Um, Actually, that's the only one that I've been playing like over and over. But the whole album is really a super solid project. And if you like that, go back and listen to Wilton by Alex Isley and Jack Dine. I think that was from 2019. So that is my highlight, and we about to go ahead and get the fuck on up out of here.
all right, peace.
This has been the Friends Podcast. Thank you for listening. Check us out. Like, comment, subscribe, all that shit. And y'all have a good one. Peace out.